Fox 7 Austin News at 5.
Major presidential candidates on the 2020 campaign trail have been spending a lot of time in a critical swing state, Pennsylvania. And President Trump will be there tonight for a Make America Great Again rally. Here to talk about this is Travis County Republican Party Communications Director Andy Hogue and Ed Espinoza from Progress, Texas. Andy, the president is currently falling behind in the polls against some Democratic competitors in Rust Belt states. Is this causing any reason for concern among the GOP?
No, not at all. I mean, we do pay attention to polls, but we don't live by polls. Often polls are wrong. It's still awfully early. We still have a long time to see what happens. I mean, how many Democrats are running against Trump right now? I mean, what, 24-to-1 odds right now in terms of public relations exposure? So I don't know if that's indicative of how popular Trump is, but we shall see. It's still very early.
Ed Espinoza, President Trump and candidate Joe Biden, who was in Pennsylvania over the weekend, are claiming responsibility for the current strong economy. Can the former vice president convince voters that this is his and Obama's economy and not President Trump's?
Well, I think there's a lot to be said for that. Remember when Biden and Obama came into office, you had this crazy recession that was going on, that we had lost however many hundreds of thousands of jobs a month for 2 straight quarters. And then you went on something like 36 months of continuous job growth, really unprecedented in modern history. So I think that he has some claim to that. Now, something to remember with this economy right now is that even though it's growing at the moment, is that not everybody is feeling it. Not everyone felt that tax cut that happened under Trump a year and a half ago. Many people who paid their taxes just a few weeks ago didn't really see much of a cut. In fact, some of them saw some of their taxes go up. So I think if there's any blame to lay for how this economy is going, that if there's any credit to take, Trump's going to have to own pieces of that tax cut and why people aren't feeling them. It's a very nuanced conversation, but it's definitely not going to be the only thing that we talk about in the period of this campaign.
Andy Hogue, what's your take on who owns the economy?
Yeah, well, look, I think Ed's absolutely correct. There's never one general sweep explanation for what sector the economy is doing well, or if everybody's doing as well as another sector, if the information economy is doing as well as manufacturing, et cetera. But I do think that we have to give credit where credit's due. Donald Trump has done a lot to continue the economic boom we're in. I think he can lay a lot of credit to it. And I think that's what's going to hand him the presidency in 2020, just like with Reagan in '84. A lot of bets were off of Ronald Reagan, but looks like he carried every state but one. So if we look at 1984 as a model, then we'll do pretty well in 2020. So I just don't see Joe Biden beating that.
Ed, talking about Joe Biden, is he going to be the nominee for the Democrats?
Look, it's just too early to tell, right? Like Andy said, it's 24-to-1 odds right now. There's just too many candidates running. You could cut the field in half, there would still be too many candidates running. But as far as goes, look, Joe Biden is basically from Pennsylvania. He grew up there. He got elected from Delaware, but he's from Scranton. And he talks about it all the time. He loves being from Pennsylvania. They know him well there. They like him a lot. I don't know if it'll come down to Trump and Biden. I think whatever Democrat emerges from the pack will be very strong against Trump. And to go back to something that Andy was saying about the Reagan years, you know, one of the lines that Reagan used to use all the time was, are you better off now than you were 4 years ago? And people will have to compare where they are in 2020 compared to where they were in 2016. And I'm not sure that the answer is necessarily going to be yes. Maybe they were doing better under Obama than they were doing under Trump. Maybe they're doing the same. Either way, I don't know that they're doing that so much better that they're going to reward Trump for it.
Okay. As always, we will see. We got to wrap it. Ed and Andy, thank you both very much.
Thanks.